Okay, what are you saying, people? Welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel. So today, guys, like always, another weekly analysis for you. On the screen, other pairs will be analyzing today, but try to make sure you stay to the end of the video because I will be breaking down each pair, what happened this week, and also forecasting my opinions for what could happen next week. So I do hope you enjoy the video, but let's get straight to it. Okay, so first up we've got Euro USD. So for this pair, not much happened this week. Again, not really much happened with a lot of pairs this week. A lot of consolidation. Did see some movement due to the news, but in terms of direction, we haven't really gone anywhere. As you can see for Euro USD, if I jump on the 4H, we've got this nice area of consolidation, which I've been talking about on my stream, looking for the breakout, the retest, and get price going, either for the reversal. I do have some reversal targets, which I was discussing with you guys last week in the last week's video. Looking at a push back up into this level here, which you can see has not happened. Price just moved sideways. Or I do have some downside target, which is the low of this monthly wick, all the way down here, which I do expect us to take out eventually. Like I said, either we have some retracement and then we form a lower high and then go and take out the wick, or we could just keep dropping and take the wick out and then see a reversal potentially. But I do expect that wick to be taken out sooner or later. So that is the target I have for the downside. We do have this wick here on the monthly, which is also acting as resistance currently on the 4H. You can see we had that false breakout due to the news, tested the wick there, now turned resistance, and price came straight back in and inside the range. So all I'm waiting for is to get some direction for Euro USD, because right now the direction, it's a bit 50-50 right now. We're at some key monthly support where we could expect a reversal, and if that does happen, I'll be waiting for the break in the retest of the range, and I'll look for my buy opportunities. First target being this level here where we just rejected, and second target being that daily level up there. You can see on the daily, really nice support, which we broke through, never got the retest, so we'll be looking for price to go and revisit that. But if we don't break to the upside and price has the false break, trap some buyers, and now we see the break to the downside, we'll look for the retest of that, and targets will be the wick down here for Euro USD. And again, just taking that on the retest, nothing more, nothing less. We'll wait for some clear price action. Again, always need to be on the lookout for false breaks like we had here, wait for confirmation. And then we should get some really nice risk reward opportunities with some healthy risk to rewards. Again, we've got some targets staying for both up and down, so I'm not really bothered which way we go. Just want to see some clear price action for Euro, because in this range, not really looking to trade it. Yes, there might be some opportunities on the lower time frames, 15-30 minute, to trade the range from the high to the low and back again. But as a swing, intra-week trade, that's not really for me. I'm looking for the breakout. So yeah, that's the plan for Euro USD next week. If we get the breakout to the upside, buys back up to 1.07600. If not, break to the downside, sells to 1.03400 for next week for Euro USD. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to USD JPY. So this pair, again, not too much this week, was consolidating quite a lot throughout the week. And we did see some momentum come kind of the second half of it, but what we were looking for in the market was simply some retracement back down for some continuations higher, because we're still overall bullish on USD JPY. I still do have the higher frame target of 134,500. So this resistance all the way up here, 134,600, that's where I do see the market going. Again, we could just rally into that level, or we might retrace and then see the continuation. Either which way, sooner or later, that's where I do expect USD JPY to be trading at. But coming into this week, we're looking for some retracement, come and retest that daily resistance, and simply just continue in its path. Momentum is still very, very bullish, and any sells you look to take have to be, well, not have to be, but I recommend in the short term, because momentum is still with the bulls for this one. So you're looking for some retracement to retest this level. Had some nice confluence on there, broken resistance, now turned support. Nice psychological level of 129. Also had some trendline confluence building up in that area. Really nice reaction from that, and now price is looking bullish again. So I'm expecting price to come into the highs. That was the target for this week. So 131.260, that's still the target for next week. Still expecting price to go and get there. Looking for opportunities. We do have some nice support here, which price had the false break off. It'd be nice for price to come back and retest that. Confidence of the trend line there as well. There you can find some nice longs, probably drop to the hourly or 30-minute to maximize risk to rewards. But some nice long opportunities from here. Again, targets back to highs, and again, even if we do break through this level, we'll still be looking for longs as long as we can stay above this daily resistance turn support at 129. Obviously that would be a really nice buy, but if we do pull back a little bit deeper, we'll still have that bullish bias and targets at highs. Can probably look to try and squeeze into 132 as well. The next psychological level past 131. Again, I wouldn't target the monthly level just yet, still a little bit of a way away. So I'll just take it step by step, because we could have that downside move before we go and hit that monthly target. So yeah, still looking bullish for USD JPY. The dollar's still looking strong, so looking for a pushback to highs this week and potentially 132 as well. Okay, so now we're going to shift our attention to USD CAD. So USD CAD, a little bit of movement from this one, nothing major. Did see some downside momentum and quickly reverse bullish again. But again, we were expecting that USD CAD, we still do have a bullish bias. I did draw in this buy setup here, coming to this trend line, which we did have a bit of a false break off, but it did still respect that higher low, which is the main thing we're looking at. And then price did have that really strong move to the upside. So USD CAD coming into the week, we were bullish, looking for a push back to highs, which is 1.29649, which again still haven't hit yet, but in my opinion, the market's just still retracement, finding its feet before it does have that big push to these highs. I do expect price to go and break through. Again, price, if you look at the higher time frames, if we go to the weekly, for example, you can see price has been consolidating for quite a bit now, but we are still placing some higher lows here in the market, which is the key thing. And normally when the market does this, it's building up for a big move in a particular direction, and because we are consistently making those higher lows, I'm always going to expect it to take those highs out. And I do have a level over here which I'm looking for the market to come back into. Really nice support there, bit of a false break off, support, big break, never got the retest. So 1.30200 is the level I'm expecting price to come into. Again, all we need is 2, 3, 4 big bullish days and we're trading at that level. So that's what I'm expecting price to come into. Looking for trades for this one. We do have some nice support lining up with that trend line there as well, which we had a false break of. It would be nice to come back and retest that and then, you know, push on into those targets. So only looking for buys for USD CAD. There might be some sells on the lower time frames, but in terms of the bigger move directions, the swing of the market, it is most likely going to be to the upside. First target 1.29649, second target 1.30200 up there. So that is the plan for USD CAD for next week.
Sorry to interrupt the video guys, but if you are enjoying the content and you find it useful, make sure you go hit the subscribe button down below and also make sure you drop a like as well. It really does help the channel out. But anyway, back to the video.
Okay, so up next, Euro Pound, and as you can see, big move to the upside this week. Price looks like it may be breaking out this corrective structure. Again, coming into the week, simply expecting the corrective structure to continue. We rejected that weekly trend line there. Price was still making lower lows, lower highs, so I was looking for another rollover. But again, pound reacting bearish to the news this week, you know, did give us that breakout to the upside. And as long as this is not the false breakout and it's a true breakout, which I do think it will be, because we are still holding onto this weekly, monthly level of support, which give us that crazy move to the upside not too long ago, I do think we can see the actual breakout happen out of this corrective structure. And targets for Euro Pound will be back at these highs long term. So that's 0.87. Not expecting us to hit that in a week or so. We could. You know, never say never, but I'm expecting some retracement, and I do have these daily highs. The major highs will be the targets before then. So these are the major swing points where price form that high, big roll over to the downside, form the high, big roll over to the downside. So these will be targets, and that will be the major target but again, long term. So I'm looking for the retest of this resistance here on the daily chart for us to come back, retest this, confirm support, form a higher low, and then target 1, target 2, target 3. But there's a chance we might not come back and retest that zone. Reason being is momentum is very strong, so euro pound might not have enough energy to come back down and retest that before it begins to fly again. So we'll be looking at this area here. We consolidated here for a little bit. We'll be acting as an area of support, demand. If price can hold on to this, could be some nice longs there, and then into the targets we go. Again, only focused on the longs this week for euro pound. If it is a false break and we crash right back below, then next week we'll just shift our bias and take advantage of those shorts back down to lows. But as of right now, we are bullish. And again, if you do come back into this level, great, better risk to reward anyway. And then same targets, probably just keep it to this level and this level this week. I'm not sure if we'll make it to that final target in a week. But it's there if we do get it to target anyway. But this is the setup we'll be looking at for euro pound. Buys from 0.85 200 and 0.85 750, and targets back to that daily level at 0.85 994 for next week. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to AUD USD. So for this pair, bit of a crazy week, big move up, big move back down. For AUD, I do have a bearish bias for this one because I am still looking at price going into 0.7. So this key level of support here, which formed at these lows, and I do think from here we might see some upside if we can hold, and if we break through, we could go a lot lower. So I'm still looking at price coming into 0.7. This week, again, big push to the upside. Again, a lot of people buying into that, and then price comes straight back down. So this does appear to be the next lower high in respect to the high we formed over there. Again, price is being extremely bearish, so price did need to see some type of pullback eventually. And I do think we're about to roll over. So price looks like it's holding on to this resistance here, and this would be a great place to look to short on the lower time frames, hourly, 30 minute to maximize that risk to reward, and looking for a setup like this, and then push back down into those lows, and then watch what happens at 0.7, because there could be some nice longs if we can hold to the upside. Again, I don't know what price action will be like when we get there. We could drop straight through, or we could start to consolidate and give some nice price action for buys. So I'll be keeping up to date with AUD throughout the week for these buys, but as of right now, the sells are looking good. The buys will have to find out when we get there, of course. If we don't hold this level and we start using it as support, we break above, start using it as support, then the market does look like it could be reversing, because we could be placing some higher lows, and naturally targets will be back at that high there at 0.72 600. So if we break above and start to hold that as support, then we can look at some longs there back into those highs as well. So got two setups I'm mainly focused on, which are the sells here and the buys there. This, not really favoring it too much. It does look good, but because I still do think we'll hit 0.7 before we do reverse, I'm not going to really entertain that, because it does go against what I'm expecting the market to do, my plan. So the shorts do look good, and then longs if we can hold. But this is the main setup looking at for AUD next week. Shorts from 0.712 back down into 0.7, or if you want to get a bit more specific, into the support here, we're looking at 0.69888. So that's the plan next week for AUD. Okay, so next up we've got NZD CAD. So NZD CAD this week, not too much. You can see price action overall is just a little bit sideways. The market is still definitely bearish, as you can see, momentum. I still do have that higher time frame target on the monthly of where I'm expecting price to head to, which is that wick there. So I'm overall expecting this bearish trend to continue. Yes, I'm expecting some pullback, some lower time reversals, but overall this is where I'm expecting the market to head to. So if we do see a big move to the upside, we're getting ready to short it back down to the lows. So yeah, NZD CAD, we've had a reaction from this support here, and overall the market is just consolidating. We've got the support here, price swing low is time resistance this week, and we also do have a swing point here as well. You can see better, we're going to the weekly, which was this support, and we had a manipulation of that level, which was COVID, massive meltdown, broke through that support, and now the market is retesting that support right now. So overall, the consolidation is trapped between a key level of resistance and support, and overall here we just got consolidation. The market's getting ready for continuation or some upside momentum. So if we do break out the consolidation to the upside, we'll be looking for those buys and a push to the upside, targeting back at that resistance there, which is 0.84600. So these are the buys, you know, I will be looking for that kind of lower time frame reversal. If not, we can definitely catch some nice shorts from the top here for another leg to the support. And if you can get a breakout, you know, this trade could go a lot further. Depends, you know, how you want to play it, but that's certainly the setups I'm interested for the week. A push into that support, and then maybe 0.82, 0.81, then we've got 0.8 there as well to work with. But I'll just look at the lows of the consolidation, and then, you know, if price does go further, you can look out for the psychological levels. There's no real level of support and resistance to work with, because on the left here, like I said, if I can find it, this big push here was just, you know, COVID. There's no real levels here. We do have a support down near the 0.81 area, as you can see, but again, very poor price action, because price was just you know, moving very hectically at that point. So we do have the psychological levels to work with, 0.82, 0.81, and then 0.8 down there. So that is the plan for next week for NZD CAD. A break of that resistance, push into that resistance there, 0.84600. If not, we'll be looking for sales if we hold, and a push back down to the lows, and then the next psychological levels if we continue for next week for NZD CAD. Okay, so next up we got pound NZD. So pound NZD, we did see some nice bearish momentum this week. Overall, I was actually looking for a push to the upside to see if we can hold this level. I still am looking for upside moves for pound NZD, because we are still holding on to this daily support. You can see with those wicks, as long as you do stay above this, I'm looking for price to move higher, but I was looking to see if we can form a high low at that level. But as you can see, we did not. So we are retesting this support, and I'm still expecting price, you know, to head a lot higher back into these highs here, which is 1.95500. I still do have targets here at 1.96500, which is this support here as well. See it on the daily time frame by that bullish candle, and then we have that drop, expecting price to come revisit those areas as well. So overall, looking for buys for pound NZD. You can either look to take the buys at the support, a little bit more aggressive, less confirmations, but again, risk to reward looking very healthy there. Again, a lot of pips about with pound NZD, but if you can hold this support, buys back up into 1.96500. If not, you can wait for slightly more confirmation to confirm the support, wait for price to break back above the resistance that we were looking for this week, then retest that, and then get the buys to the upside. Of course, risk to reward might be not as good, but again, you've got more evidence that price will head higher, and a higher probable trade as well. So same targets as that one, but yeah, bullish on pound NZD. Still was looking for this support level to hold, but it failed. We are still respecting the lows, so if we do end up taking that out, then we most likely will be coming back down to these lows. But you can see we saw all that bearish momentum on the 4H, and we still pull back, and that support is still holding. So expecting pound NZD to move higher. First target back to highs at 1.955, then 1.965 for next week for pound NZD. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to CAD JPY. So this one, again, not much movement this week. I was expecting price to come back to these highs up here at 102,500. Still do have some higher time frame targets on the monthly, which is this area over here, which we're looking for price to come back into eventually for CAD JPY. But overall this week, you can see if I just draw a box around price, you know, that's all we got. Price is just moving sideways. So we are failing to push higher, and it does mean that we might see price roll over. If we do have this support as our target. And obviously we got the highs up there as the target if we do break to the upside, but you can see we are starting to place some lower highs in the market. So it's a sign that we could roll over. But we do need to see a little bit more confirmation, and by that I mean price, you know, breaking through support, preferably retesting that, and then we can look for our sells, because we could still hold on to this find some momentum from somewhere and start pushing to the upside and have that push to the highs at 102, and maybe get onto that monthly target as well. But because we are placing these lower highs, I am favoring shorts back down into these lows here. So what I'll be doing is waiting for a break of the support, the retest for the next lower high, and then preferably get that fourth one there. You could just break and fall, but if you can retrace, form another lower high, retest that area, we'll be looking for some shorts for CAD JPY, and targets will be the lows of that support there, 99,125. I wouldn't look past that and look for that, you know, bigger reversal, just because the market on the higher time frames, if we're going to the daily, is still displaying bullish momentum. If we're going to the weekly, you know, still displaying bullish momentum. The wicks, yes, are showing that we are running out, which we are, but I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if we do just have another a bullish leg to the upside. So we'll be waiting for the break and retest of that resistance, shorts back into these lows for CAD JPY, and targets at 99,125 for next week. Okay, so our next pound USD. So this one, again, another bearish pair, mainly consolidation throughout the week, but you can see some momentum there on Thursday and Friday. Extremely bearish pound off the back of some news to the downside, breaking out the consolidation. But coming into the week, I was looking for some upside for price to retrace. We did see some upside, but just not as much as I was expecting. You can see a little break to the upside out the consolidation, but price came straight back in and actually broke to the downside. So looking to see if we can get a successful retest of that support term resistance now below the consolidation, and expecting price to drop further. I do have targets below at this support here, which we can look to trade towards. If we get back inside the consolidation, again, similar to Euro USD, I'm not trying to get involved here too much indecision. I'm waiting for price to make its next move and then follow that move along. So I'll wait for price to break the high of the consolidation again, like we did over there, wait for the retest, and then bias to the upside, target being that support level there. I would look at 1.3, but it is quite far up, and I'm not too sure if we'll come back to retest that, you know, before doing another continuation in the bearish leg. So we'll just be looking for a push into this support here, 1.27400, if we can break the highs of the consolidation. But that's only if we can get, you know, back above that. If we do have a successful retest, then short bias for pound and expecting a push all the way back down into 1.21. Again, first target will be the low that price has created here, and the second target 1.21, depending how far you want to push price, or not push price, but how far you want to push the trade. And if you can break to the upside, we'll look for the retest, and again, same idea on the retest back into this area of supply. 1.27250 will be the target for pound USD. So again, similar to Euro USD, same setup, very similar pairs, you know, dollar affecting both of them in a similar way. Not trying to get involved here, waiting for price to make its decision up. It looks like we are breaking to the downside. We'll wait for confirmation on the retest, then we'll get some shorts going, targets 1.21. If not, break to the upside, we'll look for the retest and targets 1.27250 for next week. Okay, so pound CAD are coming into the week, coming to very, very strong support, big psychological level of 1.6. Was expecting some more retracement for pound CAD. We had some retracement, but price tried to go long, tried to go bullish, but failed multiple times. 1, 2, 3, and then subsequently rolled over. So pound CAD still following that overall bullish trend, and like I said, I am expecting those higher time frame wicks to be taken out. We've taken out these ones, and we've almost taken out that last one there, which actually formed the low for this consolidation. So I'm expecting price to take out that wick again. Either we get that retracement or price just takes it out straight away. Due to price action in the lower time frames, I do think we'll probably take this one straight away. There will be a lot of liquidity below that wick, so we might go and take that wick out and then see the reversal, because we have been extremely bearish for quite a while now for pound CAD. But again, that higher time frame wick looks good to go, and then we might see that reversal. So I'm looking at some retracement back into the support level here, form that next lower high, and then we'll be looking for price to roll back over and simply take out those lows, but we'll just be trading it into the lows at 1.57368. So we've got that low there, lower high, lower low, looking for that next lower high, draw the fib out, got nice confidence there of that zone between 0.5 and 0.618, and then from there looking at some shorts for price to come back down. So not interested in longs anymore. We have broken through 1.6, so again, a very key psychological level, which price will now be using as resistance if we can get to that level. If we break above, then maybe yes, we can see that upside move, but because we're coming so close to those wicks, I do think we'll probably take them out anyway, and then we can look for buyers after that is done. So more downside for pound CAD, hoping for some retracement first to form that lower high so we can get some good risk to reward going. Shorts from 1.60166 and then targets 1.57300 for next week. Okay, so now I'm going to take a look at pound JPY. So pound JPY this week, again, a lot of consolidation until Thursday. We did see that breakout to the downside out, that consolidation due to the weakness in pound. Coming into the week, I was looking for price to trade higher, and throughout the week, we're holding on to that support, but again, the news just broke through and we didn't manage to take advantage of any long opportunities, since the market was squeezing between that trend line and support, and eventually did break to the downside. So with pound JPY breaking through that strong support level there, it is showing that the buyers are starting to lose control, and we could actually be seeing the market start to roll over. There's an important level of support to look at 159.796. And if we can break through that, looking for push back into these highs up here, which price did break through a while ago and never came back for the retest. So coming into this week, I will be looking for some shorts for pound JPY. Those longs, which I was looking for last week, didn't quite form. We were forming that trend line. So if we can get back above that level, start forming some higher lows, that's only when I'll look to entertain any long opportunities. But besides from that, mainly focused on the shorts right now for pound JPY, and targets being the resistance here, and then we can start looking at some areas up there as well. So I will mark up those longs if that does happen, but right now in terms of probability, the setup is looking like pound JPY is getting ready to roll over. This could be the next lower high of the market. We tried to go bullish many times and the bears have won that battle. So looking for the retest of this, shorts into support 159.759, and then if we can break through, then we can look to take a little bit lower into that daily level there at 158. So that is the plan for the week, looking for shorts for pound JPY, looking for that next lower high and targets back down to these lows for pound JPY for next week. Okay, so next up we've got gold. So gold, not too much for this one, very corrective behavior as you can see with price, very corrective. We tested that support and resistance last week, and from that we did see some nice downside, but since then just been very corrective for gold. I was looking for a push back down into 1832, which is this strong resistance and support. You can see prices come pretty close, but it is starting to see some support there, finding some bullish momentum. So gold is trading at this key area here, 1900. Well, not currently right now, but it was during the week. And I was explaining to people on the live streams that if we can stay below this, I am looking for price to roll back over and see some downside. We are still placing these lower highs in the market, so I am still bearish on this pair as long as we do stay below 1900 and as long as dollar keeps up its strength. So this is the setup I will be looking for, push down into that daily zone at 1832, 1833. If, however, we break back to the upside, then these moves here will be a bit of a false break of that level, 1, 2. If you can get back above and start to use that support, can look for some buys back into some of these areas, because looking at the higher time frames for gold, overall, I am still bullish on the pair. And this here could just be a larger correction, a larger bull flag, for another move to the upside to go and take out those highs, which we came pretty close to doing. Back at the height of Russia, Ukraine came to around 2070 and the highs at 2075. So could still definitely see that bigger swing move happen. But yeah, we do need to break above that 1900 level. As long as we stay below, as long as still placing lower highs, I will be bearish on gold and looking for push back down to 1832. If next week, however, we can get back above, then that is when I'll be entertaining the longs and use 1900, which is this level as support. 1900 is this point here, and that will be target 1, and that will be target 2 there. So let me just make it a little bit neater for you guys. So target 1 around 1940, target 2 1956, and you can also look at these highs here on the left as well, because that will be some strong resistance, because that's what gave us that big rollover to the downside at the start of last week. So that is the plan for gold. Stay below 1900, that level of resistance. Looking for shorts, looking for that next lower high, and then if we can break above, then longs back to 1919, 1940, and 1956. Okay, so last but not least, Bitcoin. So Bitcoin still looking bearish, still rolling over as expected. Been telling you guys, I was still expecting price to head lower. Was looking for the break and retest of this level here, which we did get, but again, it was not lining up technically that well. You see, price did break above, did break back below, and did break back below very aggressively there. So Bitcoin is rolling over to the downside. We have numerous attempts to go bullish, but price is still failing. And you can see we have this weekly level of support, which, you know, if we did hold, we could have maybe seen Bitcoin move higher, but price is breaking through. So I'm actually looking for Bitcoin to come into this area where all these wicks have been collecting for quite some time now, at this 30k area. So that is where I'm expecting Bitcoin to head. Like I said, I'm expecting this to be the lower high in reference to that point there. So now after, you know, price forms a lower high, would you expect at least equal lows or potentially new lows? Again, 75-80% of the time, that's what does happen with price. So I'm expecting price to come back into that zone there. So more downside for Bitcoin. Won't be entertaining any buys really. If we do see some euphoric move to the upside, most likely we'll be falling at the lower high in reference to that point, and then roll over as well. But for me, you know, it is looking exceptionally bearish here for Bitcoin. Got a nice little level there. If we can come and retest that, which we didn't last week when we saw that momentum, form that next lower high, and then yeah, more shorts to the downside. For Bitcoin, it's not looking good for this one. The only way I would entertain any longs is if we get to that zone and we start holding, or if we can break it back above 40k, which is looking very unlikely right now. So yeah, more shorts for Bitcoin, looking for the retest of 37,575, which is that weekly level there, that support. And if you can get a nice little retest of that, shorts targets you're looking for, you've got the level of support here, not too far away to target. Then you've got the weekly zone right down there to target as well. But that is what I'm expecting for Bitcoin. More downside back to 30k for Bitcoin.
Okay guys, that is the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed that and found that useful. Like always, questions, didn't understand anything, any comments, leave it in the comment section down below and I will get back to you as always. If you are enjoying the content, want to see more, like and subscribe. Does help the channel out and keeps you in the loop. Also hit the bell as well to make sure you don't miss out on any uploads and streams during the week as well. But hope you have enjoyed today's video. Hope you do enjoy the rest of your day. Good luck next week in the markets, and I'll catch you all in the next one.